Time to see if I've solved this lighting problem. I'm not entirely sure this will have really done much, but it's worth a try, I guess. The one thing you can't see is that there is another Marvel poster behind me, so it's all good. This week I've actually got quite a bit to show you. On this week's trip to Toys R Us, I picked up a TF 2010. No, it's Cybertron Recluse in new packaging, with a flash new bio and tech specs and nice art that sort of enticed me in, along with the price, which was it was only a £5. And I've got to say, I'm struggling to feel that he was worth the money I spent. Oh dear, this is a ridiculous figure. Let's begin with good points. He's a sort of Komodo dragon sort of thing. I mean, it's a nice lizard mode. He's got all the joints you really need. His arms go everywhere, and he's got little legs that move, and tail can sort of wiggle. And the detailing is nice, all sort of up in his head and his neck. He's got an opening jaw and all that. And just look at it and think, yeah, this is a pretty nice beast mode. Some weird colours, but it's not too bad, I guess. But then you attach his weapon, which is the only thing that's got any Decepticon symbols on it. And this is where things start to get stupid rather quickly. It's a hat. It's a hat for a lizard. It's a battle helmet for this iguanary thing. Why? Who designed this? This is just stupid. It makes me think of, I don't know, like in films where you see like lizard people or just any old animal people and they've got like battle gear on. It's just a lizard in a helmet, and it looks completely stupid, and it looks so much cooler on the box art. But wait, there's more, because you attach his, for some reason, blue Jungle Planet key, cram it in the back of his head, and some antlers spring out. What is this? What is this? What's he going to do? Run at people and sort of try and joust with them? I don't understand. I really don't. These are pretty sharp. And then you get him into robot mode, and God, I said how I thought this figure was a bit crap on Twitter, and Eddie, he came back to me and said, well, at least he's unique. And yes, I'll give him that. This is a very unique figure. You're not really going to find anything that looks quite like this. I just look at it and I don't see a robot. I don't see a transformer. It's like some weird mental Japanese anime type thing with all these asymmetrical legs and all these sort of straps and spikes and the weird horn and the toothy grin. Well, it's not really a grin, it's just sort of gurning. You've got just legs sticking out on one side, and you've got the stupid Beast Wars lizard feet cufflinks, and then you attach his weapon and it's like, well, I can see how he might use it a bit better here, but it still just looks ridiculous, and I just can't get away from the fact this guy doesn't look like a Transformer. There's such a lack of robot-y detail. He looks like a Digimon. So I am finding it pretty hard to sort of say that I like this figure and that he was worth the purchase. But I've got to say, I think he's growing on me. I think in time I will just sort of feel, yeah, I suppose it's good that I got him. I mean, there are so few Cybertron figures I got at the time. Whenever one pops up, I just think, I better get it. Just, I've got to, make up for lost time and catch up to get the figures in hand that I never did when I should have done, and it's just a shame that so often they've been disappointments. But at least his plastic is nice, so I guess he's got that going. I've probably spent far too long rambling on about that figure. I really should do a review, but I've probably just told you everything that I need to say. A couple of my friends, who you will have probably seen featured in my two most recent videos, John and Pete, went on a bit of a shopping trip the other day, and they picked me up a few things, and I'm going to get the least ridiculous of them out of the way first, with RID Cliffjumper. Now, I know you're thinking, well, why do you want him? You've got the first edition. You said there wasn't any point in getting the RID one because the first edition is so much better and blah-de-blah and all this. Well, of course, my first edition is broken, and I just wanted a Cliffjumper I could play with, I told my friend John that if he saw one in Tesco's, because they're cheap at the moment, pick it up for me. He's got one himself, and honestly, when I saw it in hand, I just thought, yeah, I probably ought to get one myself. So here he is, and to be honest, I do rather like him. The legs are far better than the first edition. I mean, this is the pose I've got him standing on my desk in at the moment. He can stand on one foot in this pose. That tells you something. The level of sort of ankle tilt and wibbly wobbly down here is very good, and I like the sculpting on the chest. I know it's all fake, but it looks good, and his face is good. I mean, you can see him gritting his teeth. The only thing I don't really like are these arms, where it's all just folded up panels and it's all full of holes and it's far too long, and it's like the joints are located here and here. But he's made of nice shiny red plastic, so I can't really complain. I'm not going to move on to the things that John and Pete got me as well as that cliff jumper just yet, because I'll sort of leave them. It's a bit much, to be honest. I want to get the better stuff out of the way. My Battle in the Moonlight set eventually, well, it didn't turn up. I had to go to the post office sorting place and hunt for it. But I've got it in hand, and I'm not really sure I should have spent quite so much money on it. I wanted it predominantly for, well, this, the Optimus's trailer. I mean, its base mode's pretty cool. It's got a big gun and a nice ramp, and there's all ports everywhere for any kind of weapon you can probably fit on here. There's clip-on bars, there's 3mm holes, there's 5mm holes. It's pretty good. It's just, it feels so abominably cheap. I mean, this bit here is like the back wheels of the trailer, and look at that. It's the wheels and the axle are all one piece of plastic, and the wheels aren't even painted. It's, oh god. The plastic is thin. When you transform this trailer thing, it just feels like you're going to snap it all apart. I mean, most of it is taking it apart, putting it back together again, but it doesn't feel good. It's a bit scary. The Optimus figure himself is, well, this is the third use of this mould that I own now, and again, it's a noticeable sort of drop in quality. All of this white plastic is slightly soft, and this sort of torso doesn't really peg in as nice and positively as the other two versions I've got. But overall, I like it. This colour scheme is just, well, it's red, white and blue. It's all patriotic and nice, and just makes me think he looks like a Dark of the Moon Ultra Magnus, so that's cool. And then when you get him in truck mode, you've just got these lovely flames, lovely silver flames that glint in the light. That's nice. But it's a shame that the same can't be said to the details on the trailer, because, well, it's just stickers. It is. I think part of it's already starting to peel off, and that feels so cheap. And the hitch doesn't even turn. Of course, the set wasn't just that. You get a nice sort of shiny dark green Ratchet as well, which is very nice, and of course won't fall apart as readily as my original sort of Dark of the Moon Ratchet. And it's Ratchet, what's not to love? And the final piece of the set is a grey crankcase. Now, saying grey is a pretty boring sort of colour, but when you've got these lovely shiny copper windows and nice big Decepticon symbols on there, I think it looks really nice. It's just a shame that this is remoulded from like the original single pack one, because the flap on his back doesn't go all the way outwards, and it just looks a bit awkward. But at least they painted his dreads. Okay then, actual robots aside, time to move on to the stranger stuff. Pete got me an Optimus Eggbod. Well, actually he's called Eggtimus Prime. I actually really like it. I just think he's really fun. You know, he's got his gun and he just walks along and waves it up and down, and that face is just so funny with the eyes ever staring. I'm starting to think I should find a Megatron just so I can sort of just have the two of them and make a little fight scene, just have them trundle along and sort of bump into each other. Now we move on to the utterly horrid and just things I'd rather not show you in a video, but because they're sort of bought for me as a gift, and they've said that how ridiculous I look wearing it outweighs the money they spent, I sort of do have to show you. Yeah, it's one of these Airheads things. Oh god, what has my life become? So basically it's an inflatable Megatron hat, and it just looks like he's eating me. Whoever designed these or thought these up really needs to get this thing shoved right up. They really must have been tripping balls when they made this up. But at least we actually get a version of Dark of the Moon Megatron shotgun, which is, you know, mildly entertaining. So that was everything I got for the week of the 1st of October. It's been a long time since I actually said what week it was. I've got a feeling this video is going to be extremely long, so I'm going to sign off by saying I buckled on a pre-order for that Generations 4-pack with the G2 Jazz and Combat Hero Optimus and the little Thundercracker and Motormaster. Because Kapow Toys put it up and I saw it on Twitter and I was like, I better go and have a look. I was watching on eBay and it was like 70 quid, and when I saw their price I was just like, I'm gonna have to just stop myself because that's... The set I think is meant to be 30 quid if you were to find it in a shop, but you're never going to. So let's put it this way, I sort of paid £13.50 for the postage. That's the way I'm convincing myself that it was worth it, and it is going to be worth it because I can't wait to get my hands on it. But of course, because of that purchase, we return to the theme of me spending a bit too much money when I shouldn't. So I'm going to try and keep the bot purchases down. I mean, I did think I'd only end up with that Cyberverse set this week, and then, you know, Recluse wasn't really expensive. And I ended up with quite a bit more, and, well, yeah, I didn't really pay for any of it. I think that's enough chit-chat for now. Arrivederci. Wibbly wobbly, wibbly wobbly, wibbly wobbly. Been tripping balls.